Hello and welcome to the Daily Atheist Morning Show. I am your host, the amazing Super Chris Mallard. Thank you for joining me. It is Friday. The weekend is upon us. I hope you've had a good week. I hope you've done lots of sinning and blaspheming, because that's what we do, I guess. And I hope you're ready for the good weekend. A good weekend. I'm planning on a good weekend. I've got a little bit of a break. I'm torn, my friends. Let me tell you, I'm torn. We're doing Julius Caesar at the New Mexico Shakespeare Festival. We rehearsed it. I think it feels like a shorter time than we normally rehearse it. And then our tech week felt rushed and just all kinds of stuff. And then so we run 3 shows, Friday, Saturday, and Sunday. And then we're off for 2 weeks. We did a Zoom meeting last night where we just kind of read the script together. Next week, we're going to meet somewhere and we're going to find a place to rehearse. And we're going to try to run through it once. But I just, and then we'll go back to performing live. And I'm like, man, I just feel like I would prefer more rehearsals. It just feels like it. So I personally am going to rehearse and be ready. I hope you guys are ready for the weekend. I am ready. We're going to do some fun things here in just a minute. Let's do the thing. Good morning, everyone. Let's go. Ooh, I like this one.
Finnegan!
Yes, sir. Very disturbing, I know.
Fetch me Father Finnegan.
Your Highness.
You are in the presence of His Holiness, the Pupius Maximus, guardian of the sacred fire hydrant, defender of the holy tennis ball, and eater of the golden kibble, Pup Oliver Poopsalop the Fifth.
Your popedom. I heard you have a bone to pick with me.
Condoms, Father Finnegan?
No, thank you. I've got plenty.
That's what I mean. Why are you selling condoms?
Oh, you mean our Pharaoh Sombrero line of condoms. Understood.
You know how we feel about those around here.
Well, they're not to be used by the Catholics, of course.
Not for Catholics?
No, they're part of our Sinner Gonna Sin lack of faith outreach program.
A sinner gonna what?
It's like getting the tithe, but from the heretics and the heathens and the atheists.
Oh, well, when you put it like that.
But, Your Highness, this will reflect very poorly on the church.
True. You know what this means, Flanagan?
Warning label. A warning label on the box. Not for Catholics in big letters.
Too subtle.
Instant purgatory if used by Catholics.
I like it. Divine branding.
Excellent, your popedom. Will there be anything else?
That will be all. You may leave.
All right. Good morning, everyone. I hope you had a great weekend, or great week, and I hope you're ready for the weekend. So today, one of the things I wanted to talk about, let me pull this up real quick. Good morning, Cliff Jammin. Howdy. I guess I ought to say hi to my folks. Tinfoil Hat Wear, good morning. Thank you for joining us. Secular Feelingness came scratching at the door early this morning. Thank you. And of course, Atheist Mechanic, always one of the first peeps to kick in the door here on the Daily Atheist Morning Show. It's like, sometimes... I don't know if you remember, like, is it Morn or Norm? Morn from Deep Space Nine, I think it was, or maybe Norm, either one, that opened the doors and there you would be ready to go and start drinking. That's Atheist Mechanic. Good morning, Atheist Mechanic. Thank you for joining us. Viriman, interesting name. Good morning, good day, fellow heathens. Thank you for joining us. Morn, that's right, Bearded Timothy. I'm a Deep Space Nine fanatic. I love me some Deep Space Nine. But I want to mention real quick, somebody came out swinging, man. Future. Now, see, I've said some things, I'm a bad man. I'm going to hell, right? But, I've said, like, that it's possible that that Mary was actually a whore. Not a whore, really. Not that I have a problem with such things, but you know what I mean, of the day. And Jesus' father was actually a Roman named Pantera. There's a story about that. I thought I was bad. Welcome to Future of Earth. Future of Earth says Jesus was miscarried and Mary never got over it. Mary never accepted the fact that her fetus died. Man, that's harsh. That's harsh right there, man. That's damn it. Tinfoil Hat Wearer says, "Hey, dude, lovely to see you, man. Lovely to see you, man. You know, you've been away a while. Good to see you again. Yeah." Good morning, Atheist Mechanic. There you are again. Nice to see you. Yeah. So I don't know. You know, now the whole Jesus was gay as hell. Maybe. You know, I mean. That's a tough one. All right. First of all, I got to say, news breaks. Archaeologists today have discovered Jesus's actual whatever. And in that actual whatever, it's got proof that Jesus was actually a homosexual individual who had relationships with many men. I don't give a shit. I don't have a problem with homosexuals. Right? I mean, so why would I care? It doesn't. More power to you, man. Do you need like a rainbow or some shit? I'll get you some rainbow Jesus stuff. Other people, however, and you know who we're talking about, other people who are secretly that way, but also disgusted by that way, would not like the notion that Jesus was gay. So, yeah, there's that. But, you know, we've got more instances of Jesus doing intimate things with men than with women. There's that one where it talks about how Jesus kissed another man. I'll have to go look it up. It's been a while since I've heard it. Now I'm just talking, so don't listen to me. I'm just bad memory. I could be remember. So I might be Zeus kissing another man for all I do remember is Kevin Sorbo, his Hercules kissed another man, but he was against it. But you know, he's all coming out against anti-homo. He's homophobe and all this other stuff on his thing. And then somebody went and found images of him kissing another man on his Hercules show. So interesting stuff. But you know, I wouldn't care if Jesus were or not. So anyone who worships a man is gay. Well, yeah, so the whole notion now, again, we don't really have, as far as I know, much or any references to Jesus doing anything with women, soiling himself with women, I think is the term. Don't soil yourself with women. But there are instances of him being intimate of a fashion with men. Now, there's the one I mentioned earlier that should be looked at. I think they mentioned it in the Da Vinci Code. Wasn't it Ian McClellan's character that talked about it? How Jesus... No, he's talking about Mary. Anyway, so, yeah, so he was maybe talking about Mary Magdalene. I don't know what I'm talking about now. However, there is that scripture where the Romans come to get Jesus because Jesus is hiding like a coward in Gethsemane instead of going down to the Roman outpost or the Jewish temple and having himself sacrificed. He's hiding in Gethsemane. And when they come to get him, there's a young, mostly nude man there wearing only like a loincloth, I think he said. And that he lost his loincloth in the struggle to get away. He did get away, but he lost his loincloth. So he was up there alone with Jesus praying. Now, let me set the stage for you. Jesus is with several of his disciples. 2 or 3. And they're down there waiting allegedly for the Romans to come get him because they allegedly know they're coming. So it's a very busy, important night. Very busy, very important, very importante. So Jesus goes up to pray. Now, while Jesus is up praying, these disciples who he, I believe, told to stay awake, fell asleep. Because this is very important. It's very super important. I mean, this is very... So Jesus comes down. He's like, dudes, why are y'all asleep, man? You're not supposed to be asleep. You're supposed to be awake. He gets on to them. And then, then he goes back up to pray again. And they come back down. He comes back down later. And guess what? They're asleep again. And he gets on to them again, if I remember correctly. I think it happens twice. And then whenever the peak... So it's all this... Let me see here. I'm a little lazy this morning. I'm disciples. Oh, there we go. Fall asleep. Are you listening to me or what, Google? I know Google's listening to me. I didn't even say, all I said was, how many times did the disciples? And it said, the disciples fell asleep at least 2 times recorded in the Bible. The most famous instance is in the Garden of Gethsemane, where Peter, James, and John fell asleep 3 separate times. while Jesus was praying before his crucifixion. Jesus asked them to watch and pray with him. Instead, they fell asleep from exhaustion and sorrow. Jesus returned and woke them 3 distinct times, prompting his famous quote, "The spirit indeed is willing, but the flesh is weak." Yeah, but what was his flesh up there doing? Well, apparently this had something to do with a mostly naked young man. I'm not going to say boy. My interpretation, my understanding is probably a young man, somewhere between 15 to 21, maybe. I don't know what their determination of a young man was, but so yeah, Jeebus. There you go. Let me see what's going on in the chat here. This one. If Jesus was found to be gay, historians would be thrilled. Theologians would be exhausted. Meme makers would shoot. That's so true. Jesus would have de la Chapelle syndrome. Oh yeah, huh? Let's see. Nacho the Bush Ninja. I dig it. I don't know what else you got to say, but your name is cool. It says, ever notice people who hate God are all betas? I was a God troll too. I'm a beta? Okay, I guess so. Maybe, if that's what you think. Good morning, Nacho. I want to mention a couple of things while I got you. I don't hate God. Do you hate Emperor Palpatine? Do you hate the Green Goblin from Spider-Man? I don't hate God. However, let's imagine for a moment, my friend, that the people who do believe in the Palpatine, just imagine if the people who really believed in Palpatine were here and were literally going and forcing our women to live by rules that Palpatine had decided. Just imagine that there were people here in the United States right now going down and forcing Palpatine's laws on your children in schools and telling them that this is the laws of God. Then, of course, I would actually have a problem with the followers of Palpatine. I wouldn't actually have a problem with Palpatine because Palpatine doesn't exist, but I would have a problem with the followers of Palpatine, and that's the cursed circumstance you found yourself stumbling upon. I don't hate God. I very much dislike what the God-botherers do to other people. If you keep it to yourself, it wouldn't be that bad, but you don't. Not only do you not keep it to yourself, you're ignorant of the fact that you oppress other people. You're like, how do we oppress other people? You have no idea. I have to explain it to you. Book bans, all that other business. I have no idea. So, toggle that pin real quick. But still cool name. Got to give you the coolness on the name. Oh, wait. Tom has blue eyes. That's cool, too. Says, I'm gay and a Christian. There you go. See, he loves Jesus. They. Tom, I'm assuming they. Great question about Mary. Go look up the greater question about Mary. And Jesus takes Mary to a hillside where he pulls a woman out of his side, has sex with her, finishes in his hand, and eats it. Are you sure? I didn't know about that. I'm going to have to look that one up. Christian Gregory James. You were back on my show during a teen. Interesting. I was like 2019. It's 5-6 years ago. Yeah. Good morning. Gays and trans are sinners in most religions, not just Christianity. Is that true? I don't think that's true. I don't know for sure. You might look that up. I thought like the Native Americans they were called people of a twin spirit. I think that you might be mistaken there. Again, even Jesus, remember when Jesus talked about eunuchs? He talked about some eunuchs are made that way by other men. Because, a man, say like you're going to be a guard for a castle and there's a queen there and, they're going to cut your dick off so you don't nail the queen, right? So that kind of another man took or let's say you're going to sacrifice your genitalia to God because you're committing that you're never going to soil yourself with a woman. Therefore, you become a eunuch by yourself on your own. So Jesus said, there are those who become eunuchs from other men. There are those who are born eunuchs naturally, which are men without penises, which is like a form of trans. It's like Jesus' own way of accepting trans people. And then he went on. He didn't condemn them, say anything bad about them, didn't say nothing. He just went on. And then he said, and then there are those who are able to become a eunuch out of the Spirit of God or their dedication to God. Those who are willing and able to make that kind of commitment should make that kind of commitment. But I mean, he just like, hey, there's men born without dicks. And then he went on. No condemnation at all. It's natural. So, Roscoe of the Rose. Abrahamic religions hardly count as different religions. That is indeed true. That is true. I really don't know. I don't know that other religions go around. I'd have to look into it myself to be more sure. I just don't know that that other methods of religion, like Hindus, do they have a problem with it? I don't know if the Hindu religion has a problem with it. So, the Tao, Shin Tao, I don't know enough about those kinds of places. That's not my bailiwick. Jay, what has being gay or trans got to do with the Bible? I am no scholar, but I am pretty sure that Jesus and his disciples did not go around sucking cock. That's an interesting question. Let me pin that so it doesn't move on. Madman, you really shouldn't you shouldn't do that. You need to stop doing that or I'm going to bounce you. Just stop. You don't have to personally insult people with harsh language. You can. You can. But only a few times. Ancient Roman cult of Cybele, where men cut off their genitalia in worship of the Greater Mother. I want to mention, by the way, if you want to think about it, the ancient Greeks were known for being homosexuals. The Spartans were known for being homosexuals. My understanding, unless I'm mistaken, is that the baddest motherfuckers on the land, when they were raised up and then they were married to a woman, they actually had to cut her hair and make her look like a man so he would be attracted to her. So I don't really think, I could be mistaken, but I don't think I am. But I know very much so that Sparta and most of the rest of Greece, at least in ancient times, had a thing for, well, pederasty technically, but also homosexuality. So, just saying. Let me see here. Dennis BTV, black fatigue has a problem with it. I don't know what you're talking about there. I guess I should come off of this. I don't know. The anti-gay thing to sack the Mayas, were the Mayas gay? I don't know. Maybe they were. King James indeed was homosexual. That's kind of a well-known fact. A man should never fuck another man in his asshole. A man should never put another man's dick in his mouth, says Lynch Goy. Why, Lynch? You're against it, but have you ever tried it? Other than religious reasons, why not? Should a woman never put a man's penis in her mouth? Should a woman never have anal sex with a man? I'm just curious where you stand on that. Just kind of curious. But again, how do you know about the whole sucking dick if you've never tried it? Have you ever tasted dick? You may find dick to be delicious and go, my God, why the fuck have I never tried dick before? Have you tried it? You should give it a shot, man. I tell you. Just saying. Jay, what does being gay or trans have to do with the Bible? Actually, I don't really, it was just kind of incidental. We were defending Jesus, actually, oddly. If Jesus happened to be gay, we would have been cool with that. You probably wouldn't, though. You'd be shitting your britches right now. If Jesus was gay, oh my God. Franz Natter, I'm sure he would. That's sodomy. Yes, it is. I'm saying without religious reasons. Without a religious purpose. Sodomy, yeah. Let's talk about that, though. See, Madman, no one cares where King James only authorized the publication of the Bible. I don't know. I'd have to go look at that. I think there was more to it than that. So the whole deal about sodomy, you know why they destroyed Sodom and Gomorrah, right? Okay, let me tell you this story. I'm going to tell you this story. In fact, I got to pin some shit that's going on in the chat. So Lot was in Sodom, and some angels came to him, and all the men of Sodom, all of them apparently, came beating on the door wanting to rape the men, have sex with the angel men who had come to be with Lot. Second story in Judges 19, I think it is the reverse of that, the story of the Benjamite or something like that. Anyway, in that story, two men go to the town center, and a little old man comes and gets them and takes them to his home. In both instances, all of the men of the town come and they want to rape those two men that... or angels, depending on which story you're listening to. Now, and thus Sodom and Gomorrah was destroyed. Sodom, now we get the word sodomy because of blah, right? But if you go look, that's not why the city was destroyed. God tells you why he destroyed it. He destroyed it because the rich people weren't helping the poor, because of gluttony without mercy. Look, I mean, let me just do this. I say, again, we're just going off my old man memory here. Let's see here. Let me bring this over here where I can read upon it. Inhospitality and abuse of strangers. In Genesis, the men of the city violently demanded that Lot hand over his male guests so they could assault them. That's not really what... Neglect of the vulnerable. In the book of Ezekiel, the prophet explicitly states that the guilt of Sodom include pride, gluttony, and an abundance of food while they did not help the poor and needy. And yet they named it sodomy for some reason. General corruption and violence. The cities were characterized by a widespread outcry of suffering caused by exploitation, injustice, and a total disregard for basic human dignity. It's like capitalism run rampant in Sodom and Gomorrah, and that's why God destroyed them. But they blame it on gay people. Isn't that weird? That's weird. The sexual immorality. The New Testament book of Jude, very popular book of Jude, refers to the cities giving themselves over to sexual immorality and strange flesh. That's funny as fuck. You know, you might go back through and you look at the laws that they give out in the ancient Hebrews and stuff like that. Several times they give out various different laws. And why do they give out laws? They give laws for like things you're doing that need to stop, right? So there's like one to not have sex with a goat. Or if you have a sex with a goat, you cannot eat that goat then. You have to give it to somebody else. These are laws they made. Why did they make that law? Why, oddly, are there no laws about jumping out of airplanes? Because no one was jumping out of airplanes back then, right? But apparently people were fucking goats. There's a law about having sex with your mother-in-law. I mean, let's talk. I mean... Gayness and capitalism go hand in hand in what it sounds like. Just look at Vegas. I don't know what gayness and Vegas have to do with each other necessarily. I mean, you would think like San Francisco had a thing about being a high population gay. My understanding at one point, Santa Fe, New Mexico was the per capita highest concentration of gay people in the country. I've never heard anything about it. I mean, unless you count like the people wearing the hats. I don't know. Anyway, good morning, Ogden. If my granny had wheels, she'd be a bicycle. And that is so true. But again, so we can look here at the Bible and it tells us why Sodom was destroyed. See, part of the deal is whenever you're taking the Old Testament, I always, especially in situations like this, the Old Testament, whenever it explains things, it's like more, to me at least, contemporary than the hundreds of years later whenever the people who wrote the books of the New Testament were interpreting stuff. So, yeah, in Genesis, it says the men violently demanded neglect of the vulnerable. In Ezekiel 16:49, the prophet explicitly states that the guilt of Sodom included pride, gluttony, and an abundance of food while they did not help the poor and needy. Pride Interesting. Pride is one of the worst, horrible things. Pride is one of those things, I don't know, it's weird. Christians don't understand pride. Atheism is a religion of oppression. No difference between atheism and religion nut job. Both have nothing better to do than try to sell their belief system. That's kind of ignorant, don't you think, Grimhead? Don't you think that's kind of ignorant? Atheism is a religion of... Atheism is just somebody who doesn't believe in God. That's it. You're an atheist when it comes to Zeus. Are you part of a movement, underground movement that secretly oppresses Zeus somehow? Or, I mean, no. But the deal is with Christians, with you Christians, if you're a Christian, the Christians are out oppressing other people. They're forcing their bullshit on people. The 10 Commandments in schools. Women die in hospital parking lots because of Christians who have gotten into the Supreme Court and overturned Roe versus Wade. Right now, the United States government is waging a war in the Middle East in the name of Jesus Christ, according to Peter Hegseth. Can you say that? I mean, any of those things? I mean, you can't really. About atheism, you just can't. Matter of fact, atheism is more moral. Secular humanism is more moral than your religion anyway. So there's that. Just saying. How is it more moral? Hey, Jason Tester, good morning. Nice to have you with us again today. Jesus saves us from what? What's he saving us from? You believe the other man told you. Oh, no, man. What a fucking... Okay, fine. Talk to yourself. Some days I'm like, you know what, man? I'm going to argue with those people. And some days I'm just not. If you're not smart enough to know the difference, you're not smart enough to be on an equal playing field. We're not even speaking the same language. You come out and said something that almost seemed smart, and I was like, oh, no, it's not smart. And I said, oh, that's really dumb. And then ever since then, you've just crashed out and devolved. So carry on. Ooh, a cool new name. Let's see. Kelly, good morning, Kelly Shearer. Thank you very much for joining us today. Nice to have you, friends. France. Good morning, France. Thank you for joining us. And Quacko. Christians preach they don't force anything on anyone. Really? That's interesting. You've never heard of the book bans in schools? You've never heard of the 10 Commandments being put in classrooms throughout the United States? Just a couple of... You never heard of blue laws? You never heard of blue laws. You don't know what a blue law is? It's like in a county where you can't buy alcohol on a Sunday, even if you're not a Christian. They've just gone and made... You've never heard of any of these things. Huh? The ignorance among Christians is just fucking stunning. I have no idea. Yeah, have you never heard of the Spanish Inquisition? I mean, just that alone, the Catholic Reformation, the Protestant Reformation. Just good morning, person. Nice to have you with us. Ah, the insults. Yes, the insults. Say something smart. Try Muslims. Is that all you got? All right, tell me where in the United States, Grimhead, where in the United States are the Muslims forcing their Quran literally to be posted in the classrooms? Can you point that? Let me know where that is in the United States, where that's happening, or where they're trying to make. Let me know in the chat. Let me know which member of the Supreme Court or members of the Supreme Court are Muslim. Can you do that for me? The ones who overturned the Roe versus Wade, can you let me know which ones of them are Muslim? None of them are Muslim, by the way. Matter of fact, the one Amy Coney Barrett, she's a fucking handmaid. She's literally a fucking handmaid from one of these far-right religious Christian nutbag groups. A handmaid. Don't trust me, my friend. No. I am a liar on the internet. Go look that shit up for yourself. You can do it. Use your tiny, tiny little fingers and go, is this bitch a handmaid? Just do it for yourself. Don't trust me. Jay says Adam and Eve are supposed to be our original mother and father. That means we are all related, brothers and sisters, yet we are all having sex with each other. That is indeed screwed up. It gets worse, really. I mean, whenever you start it, if you think about it and you actually give them that, then they either Cain and Abel had to have sex with Eve to get more people, or Adam and Eve had more people, girls, where Cain and Abel had to have sex with their own sisters. Abram, the father of the Abrahamic religion, married his own sister wife, married his own sister, half sister. His niece was married to her own uncle. I don't know why you'd put this shit in your holy book, but they happened to put this in their holy. I mean, they were very interbred. That's high quality stock right there. So naturally, anything they hallucinated out in the desert thousands of years ago, naturally, that we should take that seriously. Let's see here. Nazis and Muslims are two different things. Who think they're the same? They're not even, I mean, let's see. The only reason we're able to translate ancient languages and have several sections of ancient history are known to us because Christians wrote it down. That's not true. That's not true at all. That's absolutely incorrect. That's not true. Where do you get this shit from? Did you just make this up? Good morning, Garb Scrum. Did you just make this literally up right now? Can you prove any evidence for this at all? Now, you could almost actually say that about Islam. You really could. There was a period of Islam where they preserved knowledge. I know, I'm not the guy to defend Islam, but they were. I mean, they preserved knowledge. They encouraged knowledge. You really don't find that in Christianity very much. Christianity held knowledge back. In fact, now you'll say, well, we had, colleges and universities built by, yeah, they sure did. Then they controlled the narrative that came out of those universities and colleges, didn't they? And then, of course, there are scientists all throughout history. Oh, this scientist here was a Christian. This scientist here was a Christian. Yeah, but can you also tell me how many of those scientists were actually not Christian, but lived in this area in a time where, had they admitted they were not Christian, they would have been killed? That's not a zero number. That's kind of a large number. There's a long time throughout Europe where Christianity ruled and murder was a bet. It was everywhere. I mean, they would tie women to chairs and lower them into water to see if they were a witch. They would tie stones to people and throw them into bodies of water like a river or a lake. And if they floated, then it was Satan that was helping them survive, and therefore they were condemned. They should kill them or whatever. But if they sank, then they were probably obviously not working with the devil, and they'll go to heaven. You've never heard about any of that? You know what a tympanic ritual is? This is where they knock a hole in your head. Anyway, yeah, they actually kind of held us back. John 31, I saw an interesting name. John 13:31, Muslims in America think this is correct. John 10:31 through 33. Go check those out. Oh, no. Oh, you were turned into a newt. I hate it when that happens, secular feelings. I'm glad you're back to your caddy-like situation. Let me see. I'm trying to catch up with the chat. It is moving fast. You're still wrong about the ancient languages. It's like Christianity going through Europe. I mean, anyway. Okay, fine. Whatever you want to think. The lack of education. Where are you from, individual? Please tell me where you're from and your age. I'd be very interested in knowing your age. I dropped my croissant. Good morning. I dropped my croissant. I'm just curious. Just garble scrum. Just curious. Your age, and where you're from, where your education was from, or lack thereof. Not only has he zero clue about history, he wants to milk the culture war, propaganda bullshit, and blah, 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 left-wing or right-wing propaganda, blah, 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 blah. Yeah, sure, whatever you want to think. Part of the deal is that your side is just fucking horrific. It is. It's horrific. It's been horrific for a long time. You've been murdering people, killing people, oppressing people, witch trials, witch burnings. I mean, you can go on throughout history. We could talk about here in the United States. Have you ever heard of burning a cross in someone's yard? Never heard of that. I once got a job one time. I got a job one time because the hiring person thought I was a Jehovah's Witness because the person who recommended me was a Jehovah's Witness. So they assumed I was a Jehovah's Witness, and that was why they hired me, because I was a Jehovah's Witness. I was not a Jehovah's Witness. I've never been a Jehovah's Witness. I didn't even know that person was a Jehovah's Witness. That was interesting. Yeah, propaganda. It's all propaganda. Blue Ocean, I would like to say something here. Blue Ocean says, I'm an atheist in a Muslim neighborhood. Go live with them before claiming something about them. Yes. Yep. I have, oftentimes, I don't really normally talk about Islam very often on here. I'm against Islam, like I'm against Christianity. I'm not necessarily against individual Christians. Most are good people who have been misled into this hateful religion. I would say the same thing about Islam. A lot of wonderful people, very loving, very kind, who go into their book and they find the best they can find in their religion. There are those who, have you ever noticed the more fundamental they are, the more fundamental, and you know what fundamental means, right? The more harshly and closely they follow the text to its letter. The more fundamental a person is who follow these religious texts to the letter, the more violent, hateful, right? Yeah. Isn't that interesting? You would think if their religions and their books of their faith taught truly about peace and love and mercy, that is what you would get the closer to their fundamental core. But that's not what you get. The closer you get to the fundamental core of these religions, which is hate and violence and death, you get more hate and violence and death. Weird that. So individual Muslims, they're probably I don't think I've ever met a Muslim that I didn't like. They were bad people. I have to say I've never met a Muslim and engaged with them about their religion in person. It's never happened. That's only happened, So I don't know if random everyday old Bob walking down the street and he's a Muslim, and if I was to go off on my normal rant about Muhammad, is he literally going to try to kill me in the street right there? I don't know. My raising and my programming would tell me yes. My common sense says probably not. He'd probably just try to get the F away from me as fast as possible, thinking I'm some kind of crazy nutbag. Right? But there are a few. There are just like here, man. Can you honestly say that you could go to a redneck event, say like on a Saturday, like one of those big truck mud dishing things, go in there with a sign saying "I hate Jesus" and not get your ass kicked? Do you think I don't think that's possible. You could now, if you had a convention of scientists, you could probably go through there with a sign that says like "I hate Neil deGrasse Tyson." And nobody would probably give you, they might give you a little shit about it, but I mean, it's just like Neil deGrasse Tyson would probably help you make the sign. I'm just saying. Kelly Shearer is one of those that I'd like to point out for just a moment, if I can. Oftentimes what I talk about on here is the religion. This religion is built on fear and faith. Faith is what they use to convince you that the stupid things that they're trying to sell you are not crazy. Have faith. And when that doesn't work, then they threaten you with hell and damnation and fear. That's when the fear part comes in. And there is no courage without fear. Is that true? So if I'm on a building, I'm walking along, or I'm just on the ground, I'm just walking. No problem, right? Am I brave? Now, imagine I'm walking across a 6-inch wide post between two buildings. But I'm not afraid. There's no fear there ever. I'm not afraid at all. It's not a big deal. I can just climb up. Then there's no courage involved. That person has no courage as far as that's concerned, because there's no courage involved. There's no fear involved. You only have courage and bravery if you're afraid of something. And religion, especially Christianity, and Islam too, but Christianity is our point today, really, really likes to push the fear. And especially if you've been indoctrinated young and programmed early, it's hard to get past the fear. So when people like Kelly are able to reason their way out of their religion and then push past the fear. That's the hard part, you know. I really have to give them props, and that's not always an up and down. That's not a one-way street. It's not. Sometimes it can be like a bobbing in the water, you know. Up today I'm good, and but tomorrow there's the fear back, and that's just a programming from youth, how they programmed us with the fear to be afraid. But to be brave enough to say, I'm not buying it anymore, even though you have that fear, that is courage. And that is Kelly. I appreciate you, Kelly. El Alonzo asks, do you have balls? I'm not sure you're talking to me. If you're talking to me, you can sign up to my OnlyFans and find out for yourself. Man, you guys are kind of going off on about yourself here in the chat, aren't you? Religion relies on fear and ignorance. Yeah, that's right. It provides an easy, digestible answer to an impossible question. Yeah, yep. Fear and faith. And they program you to believe that the faith is good. Oh, faith is holy. Faith is wonderful. The more faith you have, the better you are as a person. The better Christian you are as a person. But literally what they're saying is faith is, it's a sum value. It's a number. It's like a number. Let's give it a number. Your amount of faith is how much bullshit you're willing to buy. How much ridiculousness you're willing to buy without evidence, without proof. How much you're willing to just suck down just because somebody told you. That's what faith is. And the higher that faith number, the more gullible you are, the more ignorant you are, the more willing you are to intentionally be misled. You're intentionally, knowingly letting yourself be misled if you rely on faith. So faith is not a good thing. The higher that number, the more likely you are to fall for anything, because you'll believe anything. But once you get past that, if you're smart enough, if you have the reason to go, man, this shit don't make sense. It don't make sense. None of it makes sense. Jesus died for me to save me from himself? Wait a second, that's weird. But if he died for me, why did he rise again? Because that's not, what the fuck is that? And if he's a sacrifice, you don't get sacrifices back. And that's just, and it goes on. The whole story is just fucking stupid. But you've been programmed to think it's beautiful. Jesus sacrificed himself for me. God sacrificed his only son for me. Listen, man, I tell you what, if you went down to your local, I don't know, tune-up place, and you broke out all the windows of that tune-up place, and you've sinned essentially, and you go home and your neighbor were to unalive his own child to absolve you of that sin, does that somehow make sense to you? Is that not weird to you? But God killing his son for you, to save you from himself. He could have just said, you know what? I forgive you of your sin. No, I've got to put an innocent person through punishment for some reason. And that's, again, brings us back to the whole sacrifice thing. The notion of a sacrifice, especially, is essentially this, my friends. This is what it is. Sacrifices are just fucking disgusting. It's disgusting. I have been a bad person. So in order to absolve myself of the feeling of being a bad person, I have to go hurt some small animal, creature, person. And the more bad person I am, the more innocent that victim of mine has to be in order to make my sins go away. Does that fucking make sense? That's horrific. It's horrific. You stole a carton of cigarettes. So instead of returning the carton of cigarettes and apologizing to the person, no, you go out back and you get your cat and you gut your cat. Does that make sense to you? Oh, wait, it's got to be a kitten because it was 2 cartons of cigarettes. So this needs to be an extra innocent. Does that fucking make sense to you? No, it's disgusting. But God sacrificed his son. That's a child sacrifice. You worship a child sacrifice. Jesus Christ was the son of God. God even said, you are my son. Jesus is a child sacrifice. You worship a child sacrifice. Are you okay with that? Is that not weird to you? That's not weird to you. Oh, Jesus was a grown man. You know what a child sacrifice is. You know what the fuck I'm talking about. The first breach of the womb. Jesus was the first breach of the womb, just like the ancient Egyptians who God murdered their first breach of their womb, right? The firstborn children of Egypt. That's what Jesus was. Right? And that's what you worship. You worship a fucking child sacrifice. Oh, Jesus is God, so it wasn't. He was a grown man, so it was. Well, if Jesus is God, then what the fuck does difference? What kind of sacrifice is it? It's not a sacrifice. God being alive is here. God being dead is here. God being alive is here. It's nothing to God. It's like walking in one room to another, unless we're not talking about the same God, the almighty creator of the entire 2 trillion plus universe. I mean, it's just crazy, right? That God creature is afraid of death. It's been here since before the universe existed. It's going to be here after the universe is gone. And somehow death in this flesh life is a problem. Really. And then the fact that the God creature, Jesus or whomever, however you want to put it, knew he was going to rise back up into heaven. Really? So he knew before it was started that he was going to go sacrifice himself. And then he's going to be back up in heaven at the very same spot he began from. That's not a sacrifice. None of it is a sacrifice. And you see how they've told you it's a sacrifice. And you have to rely on what? The first F word, faith. You have to rely on faith to believe this idiotic bullshit. Really? That he sacrificed? He had to sacrifice. Jesus actually said, for those of you who care, he said, forgiving someone's sin is so easy. It's so easy. It's easier than healing this man's body. And then he healed that man's body. The man got up and walked away. Jesus forgave the sins of that man, forgave the sins of the man on the cross next to him. Yet somehow God creature needs blood for forgiving sins. Jesus didn't need blood for forgiving sins. Why does God creature need blood for forgiving sins? Is there another bigger, meaner God creature above your God creature that says, no, you have to demand blood. You have to demand the sacrifice of your own. So that's just fucking stupid. All of these things you believe on faith. Because it's ridiculous. It's just fucking stupid. It's stupid. Ridiculous. Ridiculous is a word that means literally worthy of ridicule. And that's what your religion is, start to finish. If people had shamed you instead of praised you whenever you used your faith, you wouldn't be so ignorant now. Almost hit a button and started a commercial. Let's take a break. I haven't taken a break. Let's do this thing. Do you have a loved one who's on their deathbed, but they've yet to give themselves up to the Lord?
Are you sure you don't want to come to Jesus?
No.
This is your final chance.
No. Worried they're headed to the fiery pits of hell.
Your very last chance.
No. I've been wicked and sinful. I deserve to burn in the hot place.
As you wish. Farewell, my heathen husband.
Farewell, my... Well, fear not, my wayward child. Introducing Father Flanagan's line of post-mortem baptismal kits. No more worries about being miserable alone forever. Be a good Christian and share that eternal pain and suffering with the ones you love. I'm in hell. Not as hot as I thought it'd be. Kind of feels like Houston, minus the humidity. Hello. My favorite drink crafted to perfection. Ooh, and some dank ass weed.
I can't bear to be down on my face chanting, holy, holy, holy is the Lord, every day, all day, for all eternity, by myself.
Wow, is that George Carlin? And Alan Turing, look at that. Carl say, oh, I am so honored. You've been my hero since I was a kid. Neil deGrasse Tyson, what are you doing here? Oh, I get it. I get it. Schrodinger's heathen. Very cute, you. Very cute. That's fantastic. Oh, what is that? What is... It's holy water. Oh, it burns. No, this isn't where I want to be. Pabst Blue Ribbon and a Marlboro? No! Father Flanagan's post-mortem baptismal kit. Dead kid tested, Mother Teresa approved. Is that the Pope and John Paul? Jim Jones and Jimmy Swaggart, huh? I can see that coming. Neil deGrasse, what are you doing? Holy, holy, holy is the Lord. Holy, holy, holy is the Lord.
Thanks, Father Flanagan.
Damn them to an eternity in heaven for only $59.99. They wouldn't appreciate it, but you'll feel better, and that's the point, isn't it? Get yours now. Your heathen loved one's time is running out. Holy, holy, holy is the Lord. This is some bullshit. Holy, holy, holy is the Lord. All right, so we're here. I got some things I want to mention here on the chat. John says, Jesus teaches us to be loving, and everything you say about Christianity stems from Christians instead of Jesus. You are the ignorant fool. You are wrong. The words of Jesus come from the New Testament, the gospel, right? In Matthew, Jesus talks about coming back and murdering people by the billions with his angels, murdering people by the billions with his angels. There's the part in Mark where Jesus tells you his family comes to get him because they think he's like in a cult, as if you were in like the David Koresh kind of cult, or if you were at Jim Jones and your brother and sister came, Jesus's words would be used against you. You are not my family. These people who worship with me are my family. That was what Jesus told his own brothers and sisters. How many families has that destroyed? That alone. Jesus said to pluck out your eye if it offends you, not to ask me for forgiveness, not to go to Jesus and say, Jesus, my eye has offended me. He told you to pluck it out, did he not? Jesus also made thought crime. We didn't have thought crime before Jesus. Now, if you think a bad thing, you're officially condemned to hell, right? With Jesus brings hell, right? Thought crime with Jesus. Jesus also told people he was an end times preacher. He was an apocalyptic preacher. He was telling his followers, come right now. The end is here. Don't bring clothes. You don't have time to go tell you come right now. He was an apocalyptic preacher. He told people to leave everything right now. He told them, there was the example of the man. He's like, hey, I got to go bury my father. No, the dead will bury themselves. You come with me now or you don't come with me. The man who says, you know what, I like your message and I want to come with you. And Jesus says, but the man says, but I got to go say bye to my family. Jesus says, no, your family's already behind you. You got to go with me. Go with me now or you go to hell, kind of thing. You know, there were a lot of things. I actually have a section called The Sins of Jesus, where I talk about the things like the time where Jesus says he uses slavery and beating your slaves as a metaphor to how to your relationship with God. You might take that out of context. Go look that up. Right? Jesus is the one who says, if your slave knew he did wrong, beat him with many blows. But if your slave did not know he was doing wrong, beat him with fewer blows, but still fucking beat him. That's Jesus right there, by the way. Go look it up. Don't trust me. One of us is an ignorant fool. Remember, Jesus talking about coming back and murdering billions of people. Meek and mild. Jason Tester, what you going to do when you really on that bed? I know, Jason. Remember we were talking about the fear? There you are trying to drive me to your hate faith with fear. What's going to happen, Chris, when you're really on that deathbed and you're really staring an angry fucking God creature in the face that's going to eternally damn you for all the things you've done? What are you going to do then? Right? That's what you're trying to do. You small person, are trying to drive me with fear. I ain't afraid of your ignorant bullshit. When I'm on my deathbed like that, I'm going to be talking to like Joe Pesci. Dear Joe Pesci, stay away from my wife. You know, this whole notion that I'm going to be afraid, I should be afraid of your God creature. That's just more you driving the whip of fear. Your religion is based on fear. I'm not ignorant enough to buy it on the faith. Right? So you got to threaten me with the fear. If I could think of one more good F, it would be like the 3 F's of religion that you have to fight: the faith, the fear, and the what? The fuckery. I don't think fuckery is right. Sorry, Daisy, I spat on the mic. Daisies are. Oh, I think Daisy actually. Interesting. Daisy's actually here. John says, "You blind? I don't hate people." Isn't it funny that Christians individually talk? Oh yeah, we're good people. We do what Jesus says, not what the Christians say. They all seem to say that because they know what all the Christians do are sick and disgusting. But you notice, where is this person? Was this person rising up against the Christians who took over our government last year and who went immediately and banned all the trans people from the military? Because of their religion? Are you stepping up against that? No. But no, you don't force your shit on people. You don't oppress people. Are you stepping up for those people? I kind of doubt it. John says, "You have a house. I will respect your rules. If you say don't do X, otherwise you can't stay in my house." Who the hell does one thing and that? Yeah, that's cool. That's cool. Yeah. It's interesting though. It's like, here's your options. You can either stay in my house and suck my dick, or you can go outside. And outside is nothing but burning fire and eternal damnation. You have your choice. Isn't that a good choice? You have your choice. Make your choice now. Go ahead, hurry. And you don't even get the proof. Nobody's going to prove to you. Nobody's got to prove shit to you. Jesus says, "Why these people come looking at me for miracles and signs? No more signs are we going to give to the generation." Then he goes on and continues working miracles, right? The only time he said that actually was when the Pharisees and the people who were educated actually came to watch him work miracles and watch him do his power. He's like, I ain't going to do it for you guys. I'll do it for the ignorant folk outside of town who can fall for the handshake magic with me and my disciples. But that's fun. Isn't this fun? Let's see. Repeat the analogy. Suck a dick or be gay. You have a problem with being gay? No, I don't think you see the point. You're missing the point. By saying suck my dick, I was demonstrating that I knew who I was talking to. I used an example that I knew you would feel as an offensive situation that you would not be around on purpose. I took my viewer into context because not everybody would think sucking a dick is a bad thing, right? So I specifically chose that example for you because I knew that would disgust you. And I knew that would be a situation where you go, damn, do I suck this dick or do I go out into a burning pit of fire? Because that's a really good option. I have a really good choice. That is a wonderful, wonderful choice. Eternal damnation, whether it be fire and gnashing of teeth or eternal separation from God creature, whatever. Or it's not a choice, is it? Not even a good one. And the whole deal is the guy telling you to suck his dick can't even prove to you that what's going to happen afterwards, after you die, will really happen. He's just getting a blowjob. You're just getting a funny taste in your mouth.
Are you feeling the world is leaving you behind? Do you look at all the pseudoscience, rumors, and wild speculation on the internet and wonder, why can't I do that? Well, friend, you can. We can help you. We are ConspiraWin. ConspiraWin has a long history of helping anyone with a hidden truth. We will get your message out. The conspiracy theories you see today all started out with one person's vision. The moon landing hoax was launched by a NASA engineer whose manager didn't okay his vacation request. ConspiraWin was there to help out. Christianity started out because one little girl named Mary got pregnant out of wedlock, and ConspiraWin saved the day. Now, the virgin birth is accepted Catholic doctrine. You may be thinking, but my idea of the center of the earth being made of ice is far-fetched. No one's going to believe that. In a world where people believe windmills cause cancer, we say no dream is too big. ConspiraWin will take your fledgling idea and feed it to our YouTube, Twitter, and TikTok operatives. And these savvy social media professionals will raise doubts with the prevailing scientific consensus. They will say, no one has ever seen the planet's core except Jesus. And science is wrong all the time. That's why science has theories and not Jesus. Within 30 days, we guarantee you CNN will run a story on how your conspiracy theory isn't true. We will also give you 100% assurance Fox News will say your crazy idea about the Earth's core being an icy ball is true. Follow your heart. Listen to the voices no one else can hear. Team up with ConspiraWin.
I was typing. I got some things here. Let's see. Here's Nothing More to Love. The SNET channel. Okay. I appreciate you. Thank you for stopping by. I've heard this before. Let me read the thing. Here is nothing more to love or life than just random particles which have formed perfectly to articulate life in motion. I think that's a question. Here's the deal. I've heard this before. I've had theists, and I don't know, maybe I'm misunderstanding your question and you're talking to somebody. I've had theists come in here and say, hey man, if you're just particles in motion, what gives you any right to what makes good good and what bad bad? What, really? I sit around thinking about that. That's what I think about. I'm just particles in motion. So why is it that I should do anything? I'm just particles in motion. That's just fucking stupid. Isn't it stupid? Did you not feel stupid whenever you wrote it? Particles in motion. Yeah, we're just particles. Without God creature, we're just particles in motion. Well, technically, really, I just want to point out that even with God creature, you're just particles in motion. Same thing. Do you sit around thinking about that? Is that something like you put on shirts? I am particles in motion with a God creature. No, I don't sit around going, oh, I'm just particles in motion, so I don't give a shit about my wife. I'm just particles in motion. Why should I pay my rent? I'm just particles in motion. Why should I do? That's just stupid. Isn't that stupid to even think that? Nobody thinks that. Nobody sits around thinking, I'm just particles in motion. That's actually Christian apologetics right there. That's just apologetic rhetoric that you're spitting right there. Do you know that? This particles in motion. Now you may not. You may be sarcastic with somebody and just talking about that. But I've had those calls. Yeah, that's just ignorant. My moral standards are developed through the society I was raised with and how I was raised, and because of that, my morality is different than other people's. And that's how it is everywhere. Morality is subjective. Everybody's morality is different, right? We all have, otherwise we do. It's just all different. It's like, if you can't understand how it's all different, I can't explain it to you. I don't think I get somebody with crayons to explain it to you. But well, I mean, so you could claim that you have objective morality from your God. Okay, fine. Except for if that were true, why don't all you believe the same thing? If it's objective, if it's singular from a single source, why isn't its message the same? Why aren't all of you Jews or Christians or Muslims? Or why aren't you all one of anything? If your source for morality and your God creature is uniform and objective. But it's not, is it? That's why you got 40,000 different denominations of Christianity, isn't it? I have objective morality. Where do you get particles in motion? Well, it's just funny how all the other people, now think about this one just for a moment. All the other people in the world who are not Christians have somehow managed to get through, because if you're not Christian, you may as well be just particles in motion, right? Atheist is a particle in motion. So, I mean, how do we all get by without just constantly murdering and oppressing and killing and raping people like Christians do? How is it we manage to not do that? There's just the sheer numbers statistically. Does feeling something make it true? That's pretty broad, isn't it? Is this more of that Christian apologetic bullshit? Come on, throw it at me. So if I feel love, therefore that means God, right? Love is a chemical reaction in your brain. If I feel the wind on my face, that means the wind is there. No, it doesn't. It absolutely does not. It does not. It means your brain has interpreted something into thinking there's wind there. A feeling is just an emotion in your head. A chemical reaction. No God required. None. They actually evolved. Our feelings help us through society, 100,000, even other animals. You can see animals work in a similar uniformity with their own feelings. You can tell a dog is happy or sad or mad or angry or whatever. You can tell the emotional state of other animals. There is a uniformity to it because certain things work and certain things don't work. You'll notice there's a different morality between predatory animals and prey animals out in the wild. Yeah, they each do have their own set of morality, but they're different, right? It's not universal. Objective God morality. It's not. It's just not. Carl. Let's see here. Feelings are what? Feelings are just emotions. Everything is a chemical reaction. Religious or not. I'm just kind of catching up on our chat here. Steve O says, you're a prey animal. Indeed, I am a prey animal. Are you not? Do you know how to tell a prey animal? No, I'm a predator. Not a prey animal. I'm a predator. I'm a predator animal. I do the preying. That's why I misunderstood. I do the preying. And you know how you can tell the difference between a prey animal and a predator animal? I mean, you can tell just by looking at them. You do know how to tell because evolution has altered them over millions of years evolution. You can tell, right? You can tell just by looking whether an animal is a prey animal or a predator animal just by looking, right? Predators have eyes in the front of their head. Prey have eyes on their side of their head so they can see and watch for the predators. Predators focus on, I mean, just that's a singular example. You can tell predator from prey. That there's a definition or a good example of how evolution, based on the differences in how their own micro societies worked, changed how they evolved over time. Did you know that goats are cool, man? Goats, the Christians come in here, how about the eyeball? It's too evolved. We got numerous examples of the eye all over the place evolving differently. So it's not like it's a big thing or anything, but the eyeball of a goat is so cool. They're like this, right? A goat's like a slotted eye. When they bend their head down, their eye doesn't stay like that and go down with them like this. Their eyes actually rotate in their head like this. So when they bend their head down and they're eating grass, their eyes are actually just like they were when their heads are up. That's cool. Evolution, baby. Were you circumcised at birth? Or did you change your faith for a woman and now she's gone? Or did your sister's lockjaw flare up at the worst possible time?
Guilty as charged.
Well, fear not, my wayward child. Introducing Father Flanagan's line of at-home foreskin restoration kits. It won't cost you an arm and a leg, just an eyelid. Testimonials are already coming in. Mike from Dallas, Texas writes, ever since I got my penis caught in the blender, I haven't felt like a real man, but now I'm back and intact. Thank you, Father Flanagan. Steve from Florida says, I didn't really want my foreskin back, but my wife insisted. We did it and, well, you should see the look on her face. King Kelly writes, wow, getting my foreskin back literally doubled my length. After all these years, I can finally hold my heads high. Thank you, Father Flanagan. Father Flanagan's at-home foreskin restoration kits are part of our Tips for Tots and Adults community outreach program. Free eye patch and eye mister with each purchase. You can tell just by the look on his face whether he's packing or he's lacking. Microsurgery available for those extra small jobs. And in case you have any problems, Father Flanagan's highly trained medical staff are ready and waiting for your call.
Oh my God.
I've never seen so much blood.
Thank you, Father Flanagan.
Thank you, Father Flanagan.
Father Flanagan's line of at-home foreskin restoration kits. Coming to a Walmart near you. Good morning, Farting Noodle. Clever name. Hold on just a second. John 13:31 says, so everyone's objective morality argument is about life and preservation, proving my point. Does anyone disagree that objectively morality is what preserves natural life? Yeah, I disagree. You just made up a bunch of fucking words. Objective morality somehow preserves natural life? That's stupid. There's no such thing as objective morality. I thought I already proved that with your own religions. 40,000 different religions of objective morality. None of you can agree on any fucking thing. Objective morality. Oh, objective. Oh, it's objectively immoral to kill a person, isn't it? Unless that person's breaking into your home in Texas. The Texans are Christian. Now, it's not the same in Minnesota. In Minnesota, it's not the same. You can't kill somebody. So it's objectively, the murder of a man is subjectively moral within our society. Did you know cubs, lions? Whenever a lion takes over a new pride, it will eat or kill the cubs of the old lion if there are any available. Did you know that? That in our society is disgusting. But by their morality set, that's how they roll. That's perfectly normal for them, if not moral. I mean, it's like, dude, suck, but that's how we do because we're lions. God creature itself, throughout the Old Testament, calls for the murder of children. Oh, over and over again. Yeah. No, my God doesn't do that. He never did that. And I just got to go back to this one easy example because almost all of you uneducated about your Bible Christians know this one example. The one time that God creature killed the firstborn child of everybody in Egypt. All the animals as the firstborn cows, firstborn babies, humans, murdered them all. You had to paint blood on a door to protect your children. Remember? It's called Passover. God creature murdering babies. So your objective morality point is wrong. And everything you say, I mean, I'm done with you. Farting Noodle. Good morning, Farting Noodle. Farting Noodle says it's always interesting how these YouTube bait live streams are never truly just about the existence of God. Okay, I'll get back to that. It's just about Christianity. Okay, first of all, about the existence of God. When you prove there's a God, we'll get to disproving one. Right now, what we usually talk about is how ridiculous your religion is and why you should not be a part of it and why you should be actively ashamed of it if you are, so we can pull you away from that hate faith and you'll stop voting for things that hurt people. Right? That's kind of, stuff like that. It's an example. So you'll stop oppressing people with your bullshit because we'll expose to you how crazy and oppressive your bullshit is. That's what we're here for. That's what we do. It's not about hating your God or the existence of your God. Again, prove your God exists, and then we'll work on disproving it. But until you can do that, and nobody's been able to do that, right? If you could, we'd all believe, wouldn't we? Wouldn't we? You would think. Now, somebody else in the chat asked, what would it take for you to believe? I got it over here. So now, before I forget, Farting Noodles, the reason why you'll mostly catch us talking about Christianity is because most of us, I guess, here on YouTube are probably in your feed are English speakers here in the United States, and Christianity is up in our grill here. If we lived in the Middle East, if you lived in the Middle East, if most of your content came from the Middle East, you might see Muslim atheists, right? Because it's up in their grill over there. But over here, it's Christianity. And that's why we talk about Christianity the most. Yeah. So I hope that helps. Good morning. Makes sad bag happy. I dig that. I mean, yeah, kind of rolls off the tongue. People and their imaginary friends. I know their imaginary God creature full of hate. Jesus loves you. Dude, if Jesus loved me, he wouldn't have built a pit of fire to punish me and gnashing of teeth. Jesus in Matthew says he's going to come back and murder me and all of my family with his angels. How much does Jesus love me? Let me go find that for you because I know you're not going to believe me. Let me hold on just 1 second. It's in oh, look, it's right here. Already handy for me. I love this. I should just have this. It's Matthew chapter 13. Jesus' words, please go read it in your own context, where Jesus tells you that the Son of Man will send out his angels. They will weed out of his kingdom everything that causes sin and all who do evil. That's me. And then Jesus and his angels will throw them into the blazing furnace where they will be weeping and gnashing of teeth. It doesn't say anything about sorrow or regret or hating to have to do this because he loves the people that he's throwing into this furnace. None of that. Does it say that? Does it? If Jesus loved me, he wouldn't be talking about in Matthew 13, Jesus' own words, that when he returns, he is going to throw me and anybody else like me into a pit of eternal flames for gnashing of teeth, right? Is that something that somebody loves? Is that even somehow remotely attached to love in your mind somehow? Eternal torture? Interesting. So if you want to, it's Matthew 13, 41 and 42. And then Matthew 13, 47 through 50. And you can go look for those yourself. And I'm not taking them out of context. Essentially, Jesus said, man, if you were in Sodom and Gomorrah and you were there when it got its ass handed to you, you would be grateful that you're not going to be here when I tear these motherfuckers up. You go read it for yourself. Go read it. Meek and mild. Now, of course, you think I'm being a jerk and you think I'm lying to you. You're probably really, he's never going to do that, but you already know he is. You know it. It's called Revelation, when the Lamb returns, right? When the final seal is broken and the Lamb returns and the moon turns to blood, and then Jesus and his angels come down and do what? Let's go back to Matthew 13, 41 and 42. That's when the Son of Man will send out. His Son of Man is Jesus. by the way. This is coming from Jesus' own mouth. So he's saying, I am, I will. The Son of Man will send out his angels and they will weed out of his kingdom everything that causes sin. So you, my friends, already know. If you're a Christian out there, you already know Jesus Christ is going to lead a mass murder upon the earth to the tune of billions of people. Right? Revelation. Right? You sit around going, oh, I can't wait for Revelation so I can be selfishly welcomed into heaven. Fuck all those billions of people who are going to be defenseless, absolutely defenseless against these godlike creatures, angels and Jesus. My Jesus and his angels are going to be out there murdering babies and little kids and women, old women, and defenseless. No bullet will harm them. No weapon forged against them will hurt them. That's some sort of a challenging fight, isn't it? Your God is a piece of shit. Next up in the bark bank, a clergyman with a holy hustle and maybe a few unholy loopholes.
Hi, Barks. Blessings and belly rubs to you all. I'm Father Flanagan, and today I'm here seeking $50,000 for 3% of my soul-saving startup, Holy Halos, the world's first, soon-to-be, church-approved condoms. Following the ways of the Lord can be hard and often require sacrifices of the flesh. Well, fear not, my wayward child. Introducing Father Flanagan's line of Holy Halo condoms.
Hold on, Father. The church very much doesn't like condoms. How do you expect to sell these?
Well, you're right, but these aren't just any condoms. No, my furry financiers, these are permeable, but every single halo has been dipped in holy water, a divine divider between you and sin. You can finally frolic freely and still keep that sweet spot in heaven. Permeable, but dipped in holy water to keep the sin out, but let the babies in.
Let you get your stick wet without getting your stick stuck.
If you know what I mean.
Oh my! Very embarrassing every time.
So basically, they don't work as condoms, but they let you get away with having sex without going to hell?
Exactly. The church gets to keep making babies, but you don't have to keep going to confession. Think of it. No more guilt. No more awkward I'm saving myself for marriage speeches. With Holy Halos, you can take those pray hands and turn them into lay hands.
Didn't I read that holy water is full of bacteria like E. coli? Won't this be harmful to women's health?
The words are English, but I don't understand the question.
How are you addressing the issue holy water presents for women's health?
Again, I'm not understanding.
She does that. Well, we don't get it either.
Is that mesh from a window screen?
Ah, that's a keen eye you have there, young lass. Yes. Another fine selling point, rough on the outside to increase her shame, as it should be, but soft and smooth on the inside, internally lubed and ribbed for his pleasure. We even have custom scents.
Scents? Now you have my attention. What flavors we talking? Don't pitch me that vanilla missionary nonsense, Padre.
Well, we do have virgin vanilla, but we also have miracle mint and cooing camel, and my personal favorite, sweat of the Savior.
And the Vatican, they've blessed this endeavor?
Well, not exactly. I'm still waiting on the papal decree one way or the other.
I love it, but you're asking 50 grand for only 3%. That's rough, Father, real rough.
Not running with the big dogs on this one. I'm gonna stay on the porch.
Me too. Good luck, Father. 15%.
Ouch, 15%, that's highway robbery even for the church.
Come on, Father, we're dogs. We know a bone when we see one. 10%, and we'll even bless your branding.
Look, meet me in the middle, 7%, and I'll baptize all your puppies.
7% works for me. Father Flanagan, it looks like
Wait a second. Our producers say we have a special call-in bidder. Let's get him up on the screen. Folks, we have the guardian of the sacred fire hydrant himself.
Oh no.
Defender of the holy tennis ball and eater of the golden kibble, Pup Oliver Poops a Lot the Fifth.
Flanagan!
Yes, your portrait.
50,000 at 20%.
20%?
And you get to keep calling yourself a father.
Sold to the pup in the very fine hat.
I knew you'd see it my way.
You're very wise, your hiney. Would there be anything else?
You may leave.
Father Flanagan's line of holy halos, ultra thin, spiritually thick. Available in 3 sizes: conservative, medium, and liberal. All right, we're back. Live Free or Die Hard says, ha ha, so the eternal universe theory, which is widely considered to not be true by the mainstream science. I trust nothing you say about mainstream science. You have no right to speak for anything mainstream science has to say. Nothing. You open the argument with where if everything has to begin, if everything begins, it has to have a beginning and some kind of creator. And now you're going to special plead that, all right, here's my response to that. Okay, so what created your God? It exists. It began. It had to have began, right? It has to live in a time frame of its own. Yesterday, it didn't want to create a universe. Today, it decided it wanted to create a universe. Tomorrow, it's going to destroy the universe. It has a time frame of its own, right? Why can your God not have a beginning or a creator, and yet the universe can have a beginning or a creator? There are a couple things. One is it's ridiculous. If you can show how now here's the whole deal. Like our universe burst into, we got tons and tons of science to go on about what's happened after that, right? But you can't really say that about your God creature, about anything, about your claims about it or what it's done. Let me go here. How did morality evolve, Grimhead? Easily, I explained that earlier, through society over time. You notice in various cultures throughout history, their morality was different. Ancient Aztecs used to sacrifice people on mountains and cut off their heads. That to them was moral. Ancient Japanese people, they'd fight in battles and they had very different moral sets. And if you lost, you'd kill yourself. They're very different moral sets all over the world because we've evolved differently. And you can tell by the laws from each region sort of how the morality sets have evolved over time, clearly and easily. Now, if your moral set came from, if your God creature moral set was universal, how come you don't all follow it? How come you can't all agree on it? You just can't. None of you can. None of you. There's no such thing as objective morality. Whatever begins to exist has a cause. Therefore, your God, wait a second, begins to exist. Now you're throwing out there specifically the begins to exist. Well, your God creature had to have begun to exist. It did. You're going to go, nope, it's always eternal, it's always there. And I'm going, nope. No, just because you say so doesn't distract from the fact that, as you said, everything that begins must exist. Well, your God creature must have begun at some point, if not in our time frame, at least in its own, right? Now, however, I'll tell you an interesting little fact. In most of our universe, cause comes before effect. Like I go like this and this hand falls over, right? And most times that's what happens. They have been working on scientifically in the quantum mechanics field. There's this thing, Kelly Lofton was here, he was talking about it before, where effect actually comes before cause. And what that means is that the universe, this is on a quantum level, literally could have sparked into existence on its own, scientifically on its own. There was nothing there, and then because of this thing, boom, everything started coming, and that's what we call the Big Bang. That's one thing, one way to see it. Thank you for the super chat. I did see come through. Somebody threw coin at me. Let's see if I can read that. Henram, keep pounding, brother. Love your content for $2. Thank you, Henram. I very much appreciate you. Okay, so there's that thought. Or there's also the more recent thought, and I really like this one, that we're actually inside of a black hole. Inside another universe. So there's another universe that's, to us seems massive, but to them, our black hole might just be a black hole, just some small little black hole randomly off, right? And there are things like the quantum foam theory, how like if you have absolutely nothing, just stuff will quantum pop, start coming in, foam into existence. There's sort of really basic explanations. But then there's also spaghettification. Whenever something falls into a black hole, it gets reduced absolutely down to its absolute bare. It doesn't go into something whole. It goes into it, and it's exactly what you'd expect from the foam. See? And our universe is expanding at the same rate that there's a scientific formula. Go look it up on YouTube. At the same rate that a black hole would be. So very fascinating. We might actually be a black hole within another universe. Now, I'm going to stretch your brain for just a minute. Our universe has been here for what to us has been 16 billion years-ish, right? 13 to 16, whatever. It's been there for a long time. Now, in that other universe, you know how time works differently the closer you get to matter. And so time near a black hole is different than time further away from the black hole, etc. So technically what I'm trying to say is it may have been 16 billion years here, but this black hole that is our universe may have just formed in this other galaxy, other universe. And it's just a black hole forming, and it's been in their world only around for a couple of years. And it's going to live billions of years their time and an uncountable number of years our time. See? Isn't that wild? That's a very interesting thought. All of that, though, is more plausible. I mean, your whole God was always here. Yeah, sure. God was always here. Fine. Your God creature can always have been here. But the universe can't. But you have no proof. Zero proof at all of your God creature. Zero. None. We actually got like a shit ton of science about how our universe formed and all of that other business, cosmic, radio, microwave background stuff, all that sciencey stuff. I'm not that kind of scientist. I'm not a scientist. I'm just a jackass on the internet that knows sciencey stuff. I'm just saying. And it's sort of like evolution. Evolution's a bunch of shit. Well, evolution, we got billions with B pieces of evidence of both fossils and living transitions. All fossils, all creatures are transitions. All of them are, everywhere. None of them are an end game. None of them. They're all transitions. We got all that. And you don't believe it. But you believe in your dirt man and rib woman because an ancient text written by people in the desert said that's how it started. And because that's how it says it started, you don't believe in evolution because it somehow disproves your God. Great. Can you prove your God creature? Can you prove the dirt man and rib woman? By any measure. Any measure can you prove it. There's even the mitochondrial Eve and the mitochondrial Adam. I know that's not the right term for the Adam one, but where the guy goes back to like one single person of Eve. But even those in that circumstance, they're thousands and thousands of years apart. Where's your dirt man evidence? I waited for I paused for reply. Nobody has dirt man evidence for some reason. I don't know why. It's doing this. I'm going to do this thing, guys. I'm going to run this. Ooh, which one should I do? Oh, yeah. Let's do this one. I'm going to run this one right quick, and then I'm going to be back, and then we'll wrap it up early today. Boink. I said boink. Do you have an atheist friend or family member who's a good person and you don't want to see them end up in hell? But now they're on their deathbed. Time is running out. They've been there for you, and now you want to be there for them. But how can you save them from your all-loving, forgiving God and its eternal lake of fire? Well, fear not, my wayward child. Introducing Father Flanagan's line of atheist deathbed conversion Bibles. No more worries of loved ones meeting their resolution without absolution. Now you too can force your faith on the weak and helpless in their final moments. Father Flanagan's line of atheist deathbed conversion Bibles are designed specifically for the weak and infirmed. Extra large type for failing eyes seeing their last. Deluxe editions come complete with a post-mortem Mother Teresa would have approved baptismal kit. Also available in heathen and heretic versions. Father Flanagan's line of atheist deathbed conversion Bibles. Coming to a Walmart near you. All right, guys, we're back. And you know what? One of my friends there, you awesome folk, has asked for, because I said I was going to run away screaming, leaving early, asked for the Pharaoh's curse. I will give you the Pharaoh's curse. Not like that, For those of you Christians out there who've never heard of this, Abraham, the father of the Abrahamic religion, went into Egypt, and his wife, who was well elderly, was so beautiful that he thought the Pharaoh of Egypt was going to kill him so he could have her. So he told her to pretend she was his sister. And so she did. And then they went into Egypt, and she was so beautiful that the Pharaoh's men told the Pharaoh about her, and he must have had her. He had to have her. So he went and got her, and he got her. And then Abram gave his wife to another man, the founder of the Abrahamic religion, the holiest of holy, founded. So he gave his wife to another man. And then the Pharaoh gave her back and said, this is Genesis 12, gave her back and said, why have you done this and given her to me and said she was your sister when she was your wife? She has given to me and my family a disease. So the Pharaoh gave Sarah back to Abram. Remember, Sarah was having a hard time getting pregnant, and that's a symptom of a sexually transmitted disease, by the way, some of them. Anyway, so Pharaoh gave her back, and then Abram went along later in chapter 15 and started talking to the Lord and calling for the end of his penis to be cut off. Sounds like, again, the ramifications or repercussions of long-term effects of a STD. Imagine if we were discovered that the entirety of the Abrahamic religion was founded by a man who just had neurosyphilis. Wow. Anyway, so the Pharaoh's Curse. I'm going to play for you the Pharaoh's Curse.
Mi burrito es tan bueno, it burns when I pee. Abraham had the crotch cooties and gave his sister wife to me. El ataco bueno, it stings like a bee. They told me she was his sister, now I'm plagued between the knees. I've got the Pharaoh's curse, a case of penile plague. I've got the Pharaoh's curse, there's fire between my legs. Mi burrito está no bueno, a full bladder I fear. Abraham's lies and Sarai's touch have left me itching front to rear. Mi burrito está no bueno, it burns when I pee. Abraham had the crotch cooties and gave his sister wife to me. I've got the Pharaoh's curse, a case of penile plague. I've got the Pharaoh's curse, there's fire between my legs. Mi burrito está no bueno, a full bladder I fear. Abraham's lies and Sarai's touch have left me itching front to rear. Mi burrito está no bueno, it burns when I pee. Abraham had the crotch cooties and gave his sister wife to me. I've got the Pharaoh's curse, a case of penile plague. I've got the Pharaoh's curse, there's fire between my legs. I've got the Pharaoh's curse, a case of penile plague. I've got the Pharaoh's curse, there's fire between my legs.
All right, I just want to do something real quick. We have an individual, AJ Cotreno says, very wisely, very astutely, very smartly says, sorry you can't bother to update a dictionary. Theory is a guess. No special circumstances or definitions for science. Update the book or live with the consequences. Let's look at the definition of a theory. A theory is a well-supported explanation of some aspect of the natural or social world. It goes far beyond a simple guess or hunch and organizes established facts to help understand, predict, or investigate further phenomena. You can actually use a theory, a well-known theory, to predict how things will work. It's one of those things. In science, it says, the highest level of understanding, it ties together substantiated data, proven hypotheses, and observations into a comprehensive, testable, and predictive system, e.g. the theory of relativity, the theory of evolution. You're the one that needs to update your fucking data banks. In everyday life, it means a speculative idea or opinion or hunch about something. But in science, it does, in fact, have a strict meaning. And you choosing to ignore it is just ignorance on your part. Then going on and spreading that ignorance like you're the smart one? For fuck's sake, people. Hope you guys have a great weekend. Send safely, my friends. Take care.
Got a house that smells like old cheese and shame. Father Flanagan's flesh candles change the game. Goat-scented thrills for your soul's delight. Light it up, baby, make your room right. When you've sinned and need to atone, light a candle and avoid the stone. Confession booth, busy, no need to stress. Light a candle and forget your mess. Gross odors vanish like sins in the wind. With each wick, guess who's your new best friend? When you've sinned and need to atone, light a candle and avoid the stone. Smell the goat in a holy zone. Father Flanagan here to set the tone. Lambs and calves may have their day, but goats, the scent that leads the way. Clean your slate with a sniff so pure. Father Flanagan's got the cure. Turn your home into a saintly space. With every whiff, find redeeming grace. From your living room to the kitchen sink, light the gold candle, don't even think.